in and say hello. How you're doing? From. And okay, people are still kind of hopping in, so it's gonna give a couple minutes. Just enjoy this patterning. Awesome, Pat, glad you can see it. This is important to where we're going today. Soften your body and breathe as you're gazing into your screen. Big, deep breaths and big releases, softening into your body. Feeling the presence of your body in this space and time. And notice this, just looking at this pattern, how it's being formed. Looking at the geometry of it, the mathematics of it. Letting it activate your mind, your creativity, your imagination. Okay. And here we are. Hello, everyone. Just gonna pop a few things around just so I can not have background music in my own headpiece. So how is everyone doing today? Welcome, welcome to the Cosmic Dreaming Lodge for the Head to Heart. Cosmic Dreaming from Head to Heart. And today we are going to work on embodying the divine pattern. And so we've been working, if you've been joining me for all of these, except for last week. Last week we had a little tech, so I'm glad you guys are all here. I'm glad you received your links. It was one of those weird kind of things, so we just get to roll with that. So hopefully you were able to catch the replay on that. I just want to welcome you to the Cosmic Dreaming Lodge. And we're going to talk a little bit about the temple of the Cosmic Dreamer. We're going to talk about embodiment and what that means. We're going to talk about patterns of behavior, patterns of the universe. And so the first thing that we started off with is called a Mandelbrot set. And that was, I don't know if it was discovered, invented, but this man, Benoit Mandelbrot, invented fractal geometry. And that is the result, those patterns are the result of fractal geometry. So it's really quite amazing and quite interesting. That's how the universe is formed, in fractals. Fractals are a self-similar pattern that repeat. And everything is a pattern. Everything is a pattern, they're everywhere. Patterns of behavior. So most of what we do and how we create and how we live in the world is subconscious. And subconscious means underneath our consciousness, underneath our awareness. And just take a moment and think about your day and think about how much you do in a day. And even just like the act of walking from here to there. If you had to think about every action, every muscle movement, if you had to control that with your conscious mind, you know, which muscles are going to fire, how you're going to land, the balancing, all that kind of stuff, it would take you all day to move from here to 3 feet over there, because it takes a lot of it takes a lot of energy to do that, right? So that is part of our subconscious patterning. So that's about 95% of our lives is in the subconscious. What it also is contained in the subconscious patterning is our behavior patterns, our belief systems, our tribal belief systems, our cultural belief systems, our personal belief systems based on our life experience, and then our wounding, our trauma, things that happened to us as we were growing up. And our operating system for most of us, unless you're doing your really deep inner work, are operating in the world between 0 and 8. And so when you look at the state of our world, and I've said this before, if you look at the state of our world, it's really no wonder that it's in the chaos that it's in, because we haven't matured, we haven't up-leveled, we haven't evolved our consciousness enough to be adults and run the world with adults. We barely manage our own world. So when you're doing your inner work, what's really happening is you're downloading a new way of being, a new way of acting. And when that happens, chaos happens in our system. So it's not easy work. It sounds super easy, but it's not easy. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to skim over the surface. This is really deep work. And so this is the kind of work that we do in the Temple of the Cosmic Dreamer. So I'm going to talk about the Temple of the Cosmic Dreamer. This is the last opportunity that we have together to really dive into what the temple's about, what healing's on a deep level is about, what creating from a healed place is about. So when you're out in the world and you're trying to create something and you're not quite getting it done, what's in the way of that? And so I ask that question a lot, and a lot of the answers I get is like, well, I'm not enough, or I'm too shy, or I don't have enough knowledge, I don't have enough ability, I'm not creative enough. This lack part, a lot of us are playing small, a lot of us are hiding. So that's acting out of the wounding, you know, hiding, anything lack is our wounding, you know, being invisible. When you're in your wounding, it's hard to be in creating a place for yourself to thrive and be creative. When you're in your wounding, you're always in survival mode, fight or flight, being letting fear be the driver. And while that is useful for a certain amount of time, it is exhausting. It's exhausting for your system, and it's exhausting just in life in general. You're not creating what you're here to do. So the Temple of the Cosmic Dreamer is set up in such a way that we use shamanic tools, we use a patterned grid that will hold you, that will give you the space to unfold as you are moving into your dreaming and into creating what you're here to create. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. What's most important is that you heal from whatever it is, or be in the action of healing, because it's a process and it's a journey. It's not a one and done. We never arrive, just like that Mandelbrot set. That's why I wanted you to see that. It's an ever evolving process. It's a process. And sometimes you fall down and get it wrong and you learn a lesson. And sometimes you're successful and you get it right and you still learn a lesson, and you give yourself gas to go. And then we get to celebrate too. We do a lot of celebrating of even the baby steps. Baby steps are so important when you're on a journey, because it doesn't matter how big the leap is, if it's a big, huge leap, or if it's a tiny, tiny half a baby step. You moved yourself out of an old way of being, and that's worthy of celebration. So we're in our patterning, our cultural patterning, our tribal patterning, within our family systems, kind of taught us to be really rough with ourselves and really hard on ourselves. So we get our not enough. Our perfectionist is part of that tribe, you know. A lot of the reasons we don't do what we want to do is because we're afraid we're going to get it wrong. And so we don't even start. We don't even try. Because if we don't try, you know, or we don't do it, or we put it aside for whatever the reason is, we don't have to fail. Right? So how many people can relate to what I'm saying? And I'd love to hear what you have to say here. And while you're popping in, I'm going to read a little quote. And this is from M.L. von Franz. and it's in the conclusion part of Man and His Symbols by Carl Jung. Creative ideas, in my opinion, show their value in that, like keys, they help to unlock hitherto unintelligible connections of facts and thus enable man to penetrate deeper into the mystery of life. So we're talking about the mystery, right? Mysticism. And it's a mystery, right? Are we ever going to know the answer? Is there an answer to be had? We're going into the mystery of it. And art is a way that we can unlock those mysteries in ourselves, in our behavior. It helps us move through healing. It also looks great hanging on a wall over a couch. So don't be shy, just kind of pop in here what you're thinking, join the conversation, be part of this creation. This is a co-creative container here. So allow yourself to dip in. Let me know what you're thinking. How is this landing with you? Do you agree? Do you not agree? Heather says, the patterns run deep and have had to be really compassionate with me to unwind the knots. I call them the knots. You call them knots. Yeah. Yeah. Compassion is a place that we all get to go. Compassion for ourselves. How many people, and this is like, and if you don't know, that's fine, but just start to notice when you make a mistake, when you make a little mistake, if you trip over something, or, maybe you're setting the table and you put the fork in the wrong place, or maybe you're cooking and you grab the wrong, spice, or you put too much salt in or too much pepper, you make a little mistake. How forgiving of yourself are you? Or are you hard on yourself? What do you do? Tell me, what do you do? Don't be shy. Just jump on in. You guys are really quiet today. There's only 7 of you here right now. So let's get this party started. These days I laugh. Awesome. Getting better, but still very critical. Yeah. So where did that critic come from? You get to ask that question. Do you like being under the critic? That's it. That's an archetype. Critic, the judge. When it's in the shadow, it beats you up. When you bring it out into the realm of the mystical or into the light even, you can neutralize that, right? You can use the judge for something better, like discernment. Heather says, these days I go, oh, I'm awake and following the same old. So acceptance, maybe, not following, flowing. Yeah. So let's do a quick connection. Just did it. Yeah. And did you laugh at yourself? Or did you get embarrassed? Or did you, what was your response to that in your body? Be honest. Your body doesn't lie. So even though you may be thinking, yes, you laughed. Awesome. So your body will reveal your subconscious patterning, right? So you want to start becoming in tune with your body. The problem is when we've had trauma and it's not been resolved, meaning the energy that your body is holding hasn't been able to dissipate, and it hasn't left your mind completely. We remember stuff, but it's kind of like remembering it from a state-dependent memory where you see something, even like on a TV screen. How many people have watched a movie where there's violence happening and you're feeling the response of that? The fear comes up, right? The fear comes up because we all have that within us. We're programmed. That's our subconscious, right? It's a state-dependent memory. How many people can think of a time where maybe you were young or whatever and you have a smell, a scent of something? For me, like I remember my grade school when I was an adult, when my kids went to the same grade school I went to, there was a certain aroma in the school. And it brought me right back. It brought me right back to being a kid in that school. So that's a state-dependent memory, right? A song, hearing a song on the radio, sometimes if you've had a big event happen around that. that can bring you back to that moment. That's a state dependent memory. It lives in your subconscious, right? So the same is true with your trauma, right? And so when you're doing your work and getting treated and working on releasing the energy of that, you will still have the memory, but you won't have the heat on it, right? You won't be bracing and locking up every time you're in a situation where that trauma may have occurred or anything that triggers that trauma, right? So we all have triggers for things. And when you get triggered, what do you do? What do you do when you get triggered? Put that in the chat. I want to hear. Been watching what I watch on, I have been watching what I watched on TV when I was little, and it takes me back and helps me to release the threads. Awesome. Yeah. There's so many different ways in because it's patterned within us, right? Like those fractals we saw. Overreact. Okay. You go back and forgive yourself. Okay. But you're still feeling it, right? You're still feeling the trigger. So there's still heat on it, right? That's what you're telling me when you're saying, especially when you're saying overreact, and go back and forgive yourself. What are you forgiving yourself for? What did you do wrong? Did you do something wrong? Or did something just happen? Ah, blame. There's another one. Blame and shame. Look at the stuff we do to ourselves, right? This is what we learned in our patterning, right? These are our little kids, right? Our inner children, our 0 to 8-year-old. How many people feel, well, first of all, I want to ask this question. How many people in here consider themselves a lone wolf or participate in lone wolf behavior? Just put me or yes or thumbs up. Yes. Okay. I'm a loner. Where did you learn it? Okay, Heather says, if I catch it, I still get to breathe through it. Blame, shame can be big. Yes, loner. Awesome. Not awesome that you're a loner, but this is interesting, right? So that's loner comes from a wounded childhood, right? Trust. I can do it myself, right? I can do it myself. I don't need help. Or fear. Fear. What are you afraid of? Sometimes when we are living out our mission, I'm going to say most times, I'm just going to be honest and say most times. I can't say every time, but most times when we're coming into creating what our soul is here to do, we need help to do it. So I'm going to say every time, actually, because we can't do this alone. We can't do this alone. We're in a world with over 80 billion people or trillion people. I don't even know the number anymore, but it's big. It's a big number, right? Why do you think you're here to do it alone? I don't hurt anyone and no one hurts me. Yeah, that's protection. So how do you get your work done in the world? How do you get your soul work done? How do you learn your lessons if you're not bouncing off of people? And what is hurt really? What are you hurting? Is it emotional? We're going to bump into each other, right? We can't be afraid to trigger people. That's what we're here to do, right? I may say stuff in here that may trigger you. You may get mad at me. You may not want to ever come back to anything I ever offer because I hurt your feelings. I've had people, send me emails telling me what they disagree about and how I hurt them, and now they're not going to come back to me again. While that does, it hurts a little bit, I see where it's coming from. It's coming from a wounding. And it's funny, I always had a problem with the phrase tough love, but I understand it so much more now because love has boundaries to it. Love has boundaries to it, and it doesn't put up with bullshit. It doesn't put up with excuses. Love is love. It's unconditional, right? And it's what we do, right? God does not leave us. We leave God. God does not fight with us. We fight with God. We fight with everything. Heather says, found the online forum so helpful and not so alone. And I need real people as well. Not that online isn't real. A fractal. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I did say we're going to connect. We're about a half hour in and we haven't even connected yet, but we're connected, right? So what we're doing really, right, is we're intentionally opening up the energetic field. How many people that have been in any of my circles that I offer feel the connection energy when I open up the field and connect us all in? How many people feel that? Yeah. Yeah. So even though you guys are wherever you are and I'm here in Sedona, maybe that's it. It's the energy from Sedona. I'm zapping at you, right? No, it's our intention. We're all in our minds. We're all connected. It doesn't matter how far away we are. We're in a field, a morphic field of resonance that we are all coming into agreement and coming online with each other. We're making it up. We're using our imaginations, but it's very real, isn't it? Wouldn't you say? You're feeling it. You're feeling it. You're experiencing it. Maybe you're seeing it in your mind's eye, right? Multisensory experience. Not just the material world, but an invisible world. The imagination is so, so important because it's interwoven into the material world. It's not separate. The only thing that's separate is your mind thinking it's separate. Your training telling you it was separate. And if you go too much into that imaginal world, guess what? We're going to call you crazy and we're going to lock you away. So there's the fear of really allowing yourself to work in the imaginal realm. But let me tell you something, everything's energy. Everything is energy. It's a quantum world. It's an interwoven, interconnected world. And anything otherwise is the illusion, right? That's the illusion. That's the craziness. This is the sanity. The world that you create when you do it consciously, when you let go of your wounding and bring down the pattern of who you were meant to be. We all chose to be here at this time, and we created patterns. I don't know if we want to say we created patterns, but we used patterns to come in to do our soul purpose. Astrology is one of those. There's different sects of that. More complex. Vedic astrology is more complex, right? The stars and the planets and the alignment with the earth is part of that. It's not separate from it. It's part of that. We have that in our programming. It's in our DNA, it's in our ancestry, it's in our history, right? And so we must keep doing our work to keep opening up to the divine patterning and be able to bring it into form. That's art. So let's connect. Talk about love gets chills. Yeah. The universe is love. All energy. It's love. It's just love, right? It's too hard for us sometimes though, because we were taught we weren't worthy of it. We weren't deserving of it, but that's bull crap. That's just crap. So whether you believe it or not, just start putting it into action and start training yourself out of it. So let's close our eyes. I'm going to invite you all to close your eyes. Taking a big breath in and feeling how that air comes into your lungs, that oxygen comes in through your nose, to the back of your throat and down through into your lungs, feeling your lungs fill to capacity. Take big breaths in, feeling your diaphragm and your belly expand. And then let it out fully, blowing it out, blowing it out, emptying, feeling the diaphragm work. And then begin to notice as you're breathing, what are you feeling and sensing within your body? See if you can feel a little flow of energy. So shifting your focus and awareness from your breath to your energetic system. Feeling a flow of energy, allowing your body to move. Take your brakes off, allow your body to move with that. Letting it feel like an ocean, being in an ocean. Imagine yourself and feeling the undulation of the waves. Breathing deeply and softening even more. And then feeling your feet on the floor. If you're in a chair, make sure your feet are touching the floor. If you're on the floor, make sure your root chakra is touching the floor, bringing your awareness there. And then sinking your roots down and imagining yourself to be just like seaweed, how seaweed is grounded into the floor of the ocean, which is also part of the earth. And feeling how the waves, that undulating motion is just moving you. And the more you let go, the more energy you can feel surrounding you. And this energy is a field of creation. It is pure potential, pure energy in motion. Everything in the universe is in motion. Everything is energy made into form. Light, sound, sensing and feeling, going to your third eye now and opening your third eye. And just noticing it opening, receiving light, receiving this energetic information. Notice how your body responds. What are you feeling in your body coming down into your body? Feeling this information flowing in through your third eye. Just notice it. Knowing that if it feels too much for you, you can shut it down. You know how to control it. You've been doing it your whole life. But if you can, if you feel safe, if you feel safe enough right now in this moment, see if you can allow more information to trickle in, to drip in, however you need it to be. Whatever you need. You're in charge. You're in charge. And now opening your crown and imagining a column of light. Becoming part of that column of light. Feeling your body, feeling yourself, all aspects of you. Feeling yourself becoming illuminated. Letting that light come through your crown, into your head. Breathing and softening even more, allowing that light to come flowing through, opening your throat, opening your heart, receiving this light through your heart, and letting your heart pump this light through your system, through your lymphatic system, through your circulatory system, into every cell, nourishing, feeding every cell, And from every cell into the web-like gossamer matrix called your fascia. Sending this light through there into your nervous system, to your muscles, to your bones. All systems. From head to toe, front to back, side to side, tips of your fingers, tips of your toes, bottoms of your feet, opening up the chakras at the bottoms of your feet and the palms of your hand. Allowing this to flow through all bodies, all of your energetic bodies, all the layers of your auric field. Still feeling that you're grounded, feeling your feet on the floor or your pelvic floor on the floor. And allowing your bubble to merge and connect with the other bubbles around you. So everyone here in this, here now in this field, connecting in and feeling the energy flow from your left palm and out your right palm, connecting us in circle, feeling the energy moving through our circle. And we're going to include people who haven't shown up for the live. And there's usually about 80 people that end up watching the replay. So it's a big circle. Allow this circle to grow bigger. And if you are watching the replay, let yourself feel this present moment of connection. Feeling the energy come through your right palm and out your left. Through your left palm and out your right palm. Receiving with the left, and sending with the right. Receiving with the left through your body, sending with the right. There we go. Just feeling your part. Just feeling your part. You don't have to do the whole circle. Just feel your part. When it comes to you, send it. Let it come through you, through the left, through your body, and send it. There you go. Feeling the circle, feeling the energy move through. Yes, all you have to do is your part. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Feeling our connection now, feeling our cohesion. And I'm gonna, from here, set an intention that we move from our shame, our blame, our wounding, our lack, being invisible, hiding patterns into the divine pattern of creativity, prosperity, holism, being whole, separate and part of. Yes, and part of the paradox and the harmony of that, bringing your consciousness in and setting this intention for yourself and trusting your soul. So we're inviting your soul now in, connecting in with your heart, connecting in with your purpose, your desire, your soul's mission, not your ego mission, not what you think you're here to do, but what you contracted for, what your soul contracted for. Just ask to see it or ask to feel it. Maybe you don't know it, maybe you know it. Don't work so hard. Don't work so hard. whatever the first thing that pops in, that's the thing. If you're afraid of it, don't push it away, because that's the thing. If you're afraid of it, that's part of it. Let it come in. Let yourself feel the fear of it, if that's what you're feeling. Soul work is hard work. And as human beings with wounding and a diminished a sense of self and shame and devaluation of who we are and how we're here to create, the worthiness that's wrapped around that, unworthiness, of course you're going to be afraid of it, because that's your power. So letting whatever you feel from your heart, you don't have to name it. Just get a sense of it, get a sense of how it feels, get a sense of how your body feels. Does it want to push it away, or are you welcoming it with open arms? Or is there an in-between? Is there a gray around that? Just notice what it is for you. Taking a big breath in, feeling the connection of the circle, releasing the breath and opening your eyes and coming back. And I'd love to hear anything that popped in for you, a word, a vision, anything. Please pop it in and share it in the group, bringing us deeper into connection with one another. Those of you who are joining the replay, I know you won't be able to share that, but if you really have something profound coming through, share it in the Conscious Creativity Circle. Just say, I was on the Head to Heart series, the Embodying Your Divine Pattern, and this is what came through for me. Share it. Be part of a group of supporting people. So allow yourself to come back, shake it off, and pop in what you received, if anything. Nobody received anything? Come on, come on. Heart love, awesome. Heart love. Very good. Okay, so I'd like you to take your journals out and still just pop in, receiving the energy and releasing the energy, such a beautiful thing. Yeah, you're moving energy through. You are energetic beings. We are energetic beings. I need to express what I feel, not what others want to see. Yes, that's so huge. So it's really like going into the approval part of that. Joy, knowing that I'm on my way. Awesome. Awesome. Tanya's on her way. And it is enough, the flow of the energy. Yeah. There's no lack in that, right? So think about the polarity, right? Or the duality of enough, not enough, or too much, not enough. Really, that's kind of what happens, because you guys go to the opposite ends of the extreme, right? So what does enough look like? How many people, because if you have the not enough thing, then in some places you're too much, right? And so Pat, you could look at what you just wrote, and is if you were to express what you really feel, if you were just to express it, would it be too much? Would it be not enough? Or is it, you know, what's the judgment on that? Because there's an approval in there we're looking for. We need someone to approve, right or wrong, right? That's our judge, our critic, right? There is no such thing as right or wrong. Could you imagine, could you even imagine living in a place where there is no such thing as right or wrong? And is it, there's, you know, it's, we want to be careful on how we say this too, because there's stuff that, you know, for you may not be right, and for you it may be wrong, right? Because if you know, we don't all want to do the same things, right? It's not a one size fits all situation, right? So there's varying degrees and situations where right or wrong works, because it is part of a dual world that we live in, but we're not meant to apply that to ourselves in a judgment form. Heather says, and it's enough The flow of, oh, that's, she said that already. So simple, no lack, have to do more, just be and do. Yes, every expression of you is the perfect expression. I was talking a little bit about this on Wednesday in the live about what if you weren't, it's not part of your soul contract to be hanging your art in a gallery and being a toast of the town? What if you're not meant to be on a stage singing? What if, and for me, I'm like, thank God that's not part of my, that's not part of my soul contract, right? And I'll tell you, me being here in front of you wasn't easy for me to get here. I had to overcome a lot of my own obstacles to be standing right here and feeling comfortable in front of you, right? And I was very shy. I was hiding, and I still have that happen with me. It's not ever going to go away, but I notice it. I mean, I have a part of me that will get triggered in feeling abandoned. And when I feel that way, I tend to hide. I'm a Cancer. I'm a crab. That's part of the contract I kind of came in with, right? I came in during that time of year that is called Cancer. And you know what, it's what's related to it. So there's an operating system in that, right? There's a pattern in that, right? So becoming aware of that, I could go, oh, well, that's just who I am, right? No, it was part of something I agreed to take on and be born at this time, that it's going to help me learn my lessons. What am I learning through hiding? Why am I hiding? What am I learning through allowing myself to be seen and having it be a choice, not because of fear, but because of the power of my soul coming through and the contract I have to fulfill in the world? Painting, transformation, creating unity. How am I creating unity? How am I creating harmony, prosperity? Being part of a bigger pattern of transformation coming on the planet. We are in an active transformation. The crazy things you're seeing happening in the world isn't going hell, you know, it's not, the world isn't going to hell in a handbasket. It's transforming. Just like the butterfly, right? Or the caterpillar, when the caterpillar goes into the chrysalis, it gets emascerated. It gets like, it's gooey, yucky, painful. Like, imagine what that must feel like. But then when it emerges anew. And so just like the patterning, right? It's cyclical. It's once you never really arrive. You get to a point, you may have a plateau, you may have a rest, and then you cycle again, But what we're doing when we're hiding, when we're playing small, when we're worried about what other people think of us, when we're being in imperfection, when we're being in our wounding, when we're hiding in lack, we're not stepping into our power. We're not transforming. We're stopping the flow, and it's painful. Emotional pain, physical pain, right? Depression. And then that becomes our story. I'm depressed. I have chronic pain. I identify with my pain, my condition, and I use that as the thing that stops me from doing my soul work. You were contracted. You were contracted to come here, not to suffer. Maybe there's people here, and those are people that are more evolved, souls that are more evolved, that did come here to suffer, and maybe just came here to live for a short period of time and then move on to their next soul's mission. We don't know. It's a grand design. It's a mystery. We don't know. Can only guess. Heather says, it is muck. We get caught in the beauty part and forget the muck. So what are you saying exactly? Expand on that a minute. It is muck. We get caught in the beauty part and forget the muck. We're always going to have the muck because we're always transforming. We're always moving. It's a law of the universe. Everything's in motion. Everything's always in motion. Nothing is at rest. And so when you're not in motion with it, and that doesn't mean physically you don't get to sleep. I'm not saying that. The butterfly metaphor, death and birth. Okay, thank you. Sometimes it's hard because I move along and then it takes you guys a little bit to pop in the chat. So sometimes we're a little out of sync with each other. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna play in some patterning. And so what we're gonna work with fractal patterning. And we're gonna create a little art. So I'm gonna ask you to, actually, there was something I wanted you to get your journals. I missed that part, what I wanted you to do. So go get your journals. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. And it's about stepping into who you are. And I don't mean to lecture you. It just kind of comes out that way. I'm just really passionate about people stepping into their mission. It's why I'm here. It's to help you get into what you're here to do, to get out of pain. And that in my life has taken many different forms. Working as a healer, working as an artist, now blending all of the things together, working as a shamanic practitioner, being a mesa carrier, connecting with the land, feeding the land, doing ceremonial rituals on the land. We have to come back to the earth. This is our mother. And we've forgotten her, you know, and the way we connect with her is to go and connect in nature with her. To imagine yourself laying on her belly, laying on her body, and imagine yourself sinking in and melting into her. Actually go do it. Don't just imagine it. Next time you're on a beach, next time you're out for a hike, sit down on a rock and just connect in, send your roots down. Heather says, like your fire, kicks my butt. Good, good. Yeah. So what is stopping you from joining the temple? I'll kick your butt all the time if you come into the temple. You will create, and this is part of what the questions are. You will create what you intend to create. I mean, I can't make that happen and you can kick and scream, but we're going to be working on what gets in the way for sure. And you'll be successful despite yourself. So we're going to talk about success for a second. So being successful, what does that look like to you? Just write your definition. I will know that I am successful when I will know when that I am successful when. And so it may be more than one thing, right? When this happens, when I see this, when I feel this, when I feel this way, when I feel joyful, I'll know I'm successful. That's simple, isn't it? You know, so maybe you're successful right now. What more do you want? What do you want? So just take a minute and tap into your heart. What do I want? Being successful is being free, creative, and not worrying about what others think, okay? So in that sentence, it tells you where you need to do your work, right? How do you get out from under what others think? You have the key to that. We imprison ourselves in that. What will happen if you're free? Write that down. What will happen if I'm free? So whatever, you know, whatever it is, success, what will happen if I'm successful? But if you have like something like what Alan shared, being free, what will happen? Who will I be? What will life look like? Can you imagine it? Can you feel it? How many people here are feeling fear about that? Yeah. So, you know, that Marianne Williamson poem or whatever about we're afraid of our light and not our darkness. So we're living in the darkness. We're used to it, right? We're used to hiding. We're used to living in under rocks, comfortable, but it's also uncomfortable, right? But then that battle that's within us, that's comfortable, right? The fighting with it, the kicking our own asses, right? If we're in a really mean way, right? And so we're really, we're saying we're labeling it as potential, but you don't know. So it could be the unknown of what's not yet expressed through you. But see, the thing is like, what if you already were successful? Bring your definition of success just a little bit smaller. Baby step the definition. What does success look like right now in this moment? Are you being successful? Well, you showed up here. You're putting stuff in the chat. You're sharing yourself. Are you worrying right now what others think? Or are you doing it anyway? So that's also courage, right? I worry about what others think, but I'm going to jump in here anyway because I want to participate. There's something in me that is driving me more than my fear to keep my mouth shut. Well, in this case, to type, right? To share my thoughts. Think about that for a second, you guys who are sharing in here, who are opening yourselves up. Do you see that it's just a story you're telling yourself to keep yourself safe? What would happen? How do you know what other people think? What would they be thinking anyway? Tell me, give me a story. My new potential after a lot of potential lived. Tell me what other people think. How do you know? How do you know what other people think? Maybe they really like it. Maybe they would really love it. What if what you're holding back on is something that is going to help shift people out of their misery, out of their stuckness? I've had people walk out of the room when I tell them something they just, well, that's okay. I've had that too. It's okay. It's okay. Right. You know, I've also had experiences where it's funny, like I'll just use this experience here of doing webinars and workshops. When I first started, treating it like it was a test, like I had to cram for it and study for it. But I live this stuff every day, right? So that was like hilarious when I found that out about myself. When I discovered that, like, I'm getting myself all worked up and anxious because I think I'm going to go into the test and get it wrong and fail, right? But it's not a pass fail. It's I deliver from my heart, and you either show up or you don't show up. I let go of the numbers, right? I'm, having a temple of the cosmic dreamer. There's 3 people in there right now. I'd love 7 people to be in that. What if 7 people don't show up and I have just the 3? Was I failure? Was I a failure? No, because I get to work with 3 people. And I get to watch them transform, and I get to be a part of that and celebrate them and push them to go beyond what they thought they could do. Helen says, it matters more what I think about myself. Not even. Don't take yourself personally, right? That is, that's kind of a true statement, but when we stop ourselves because we think ill of ourselves, right? So we want to be careful how we say that. That's, you want to be specific when you say things like that, because you're putting it out there into the universe, right? So if it matters more what you think about yourself, and your constant subconscious thoughts, your driving thoughts are I'm not enough, then do you really want that to matter? It's impersonal. You have to step into the impersonal. Stop taking your thoughts and your work and your mission. Your mission's not about you. And that's the ego, right? Our ego self. Your soul self is so freaking strong. And it's trying to express through you. And that's the battle. That's the battle. Okay, so it's 10 o'clock here in Sedona. We have about a half hour left. Let's do some creating. Let's do some creating. So I've got you into this place of success, right? And what's emerging is some of the things that are getting in your way, some of your subconscious patterning, right? The things why you stop yourself. And it's really more about you care, right? What other people think. You care about getting it wrong. You care about what else? What do you care about? Heather says, I do not know what people think, even if I do think I do. It's shocking sometimes when I am told the stories that people have, usually better than I imagine. Yeah, yes. It's us. We're telling ourselves the story. We're telling ourselves we don't measure up. So yes, very silly, Heather, very silly. We are silly that way. We are silly that way. But it's also painful. It's also painful. So what we're gonna do is we want to meet ourselves right where we are without making ourselves wrong, without feeling bad. If the bad feelings are there, allow yourself to feel them, but don't identify with them. You are not bad. You are not wrong. It's really interesting to me too, because like when we're little and you do something that you know, an adult didn't like, you know, what, you know, a lot of the stuff, I don't know, from my own experience, a lot of the stuff that I did, it wasn't hurting another person. It wasn't hurting myself. It wasn't dangerous. It wasn't breaking any laws. It just made people mad. It made my parents mad because maybe they were in a mood or they had a day or, you know, who knows, right? Who knows what was going on there? It made them angry. And because I made them angry, I was bad. And think about it. You're bad. You're bad. They put their finger at you. You're bad. You're wrong. You're bad. You're punished. I am, right? Now I'm identifying with that. Oh, I'm bad. This thing I just did that I really thought was fun was bad. This creative way I was playing, I was being creative, you know, and I upset my mother, or I upset my father, or I upset my brother, or somebody else in the family, right? That had some authority. And so now I'm bad. And now I'm walking around in shame. I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad. Shame on me. I am shame. And so what does that do to your creativity? What does that do to your energetic sense of creation? Because we're always creating subconsciously, remember. So that goes into our field and there's a magnetics. You're pulling experiences and situations and things to you, right? So it's all energy. And so when you have a pattern of I'm not enough, or I'm going to get it wrong, or some form of lack, or you're in your wounding, whatever it is, fear of hurting another, fear of saying the wrong thing, because maybe when you were a kid, you did that, but you were a kid, you didn't know, right? But now you're accountable for the rest of your life for this. So now it goes into your energetic field and that gets reflected out into the world. And then you're putting that out into the energetic realm and it goes out like little drops and creates little patterns of resonance. And then it connects in with something that matches it. Another experience where you get to be wrong. Another experience where you get to hide and play small, or be in lack, or get it wrong. or to reinforce how bad you are. So let's meet ourselves right there. Let's meet ourselves right there. And now I'm going to invite you up. I'm going to invite you into who you are as a soul, the power of who you are, and how freaking intelligent and wise your soul is. And it's not personal. It's not personal. It just is. It just is. So see if you can step out of the polarities, good and bad, right and wrong, where it matters or doesn't matter. It's all energy, it's all light, it's all love, it's all neutral. It's holistic, it's whole, it's complete. It contains everything. It contains the bad and the good. It contains the separate and united. It contains the discord and the harmony. It is how life happens. It's not personal, and it's not about you, and you didn't do anything to create it because you're part of the whole. So hopefully you're understanding me. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift my camera view to the overhead and get your art supplies out. And I'm going to have you connecting in with your paper and your paint. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So I have everything available to me. Allow yourself to do that. If you have a workspace, allow yourself to bring in whatever you need, whatever you think you need, even if you don't know you need it. Placing your hands on your paper, closing your eyes, feeling your connection to yourself, to your connection to the whole, feeling all the energy dancing around in your field, all of these, maybe not new ideas, but awakened ideas about who you really are. Inviting your soul down to come and meet you in your heart. Feeling whatever is there. Maybe there's a little pain, because if you're always listening to your programming and up in your head, and you're not in your body and you're not in your heart, you're not going to hear the whispers of your heart. And when you start coming in, sometimes there's the pain of the heart. So listen to whatever it says. And I had a little snippet from The Alchemist. I love that book. There is a place in here, let's see if I can find it. I have the book right here about listening to your heart. Because basically what it talks about is when most people don't listen to their hearts, and they stop listening to their hearts because of pain or something that got in the way. And let's see, I think just hold on a second. Okay. So here it is. So this is the a dialogue between the alchemist and the boy. My heart is a traitor, the boy said to the alchemist. When they had paused to rest the horses, it doesn't want me to go on. That makes sense, the alchemist answered. Naturally, it's afraid that in pursuing your dream, you might lose everything you've won. Well then, why should I listen to my heart? Because you will never again be able to keep it quiet. Even if you pretend not to have heard what it tells you, it would always be there inside you, repeating to you what you're thinking about life and about the world. You mean I should listen even if it's treasonous? Treason is a blow that comes unexpectedly. If you know your heart well, it will never be able to do that. So we, their hearts speak more and more softly. We never start speaking out, but we begin to hope that our words won't be heard. We don't want people to suffer because they don't follow their hearts. Why don't people's hearts tell them to continue to follow their dreams? The boy asked the alchemist. Because that's what makes a heart suffer most, and hearts don't like to suffer. From then on, the boy understood his heart. He asked it, please never stop speaking to me. He asked that when he wandered far from his dream, his heart press him and sound the alarm. The boy swore that every time he heard the alarm, he would heed its message. So I love that passage because to me, that's our hearts have so much wisdom and we need to listen to them. And they do, when you stop listening, their whispers get quieter and quieter. And I believe it gets more and more pain. So when we start to connect back in again, that's what you're going to feel. You're going to feel the pain. And maybe there's a lack of trust that you have with your heart and your heart has with you. So we want to heal that relationship. So closing your eyes, if you open them, coming back, connecting with your heart, and letting the golden light from above come into your heart space, acting as a balm, soothing the relationship you have with your heart, letting this begin to heal. And as this is beginning, this tiny little receiving of medicine, just allow yourself to receive the medicine from this light. Nothing to do but receive into your heart, letting whatever emotions are there to flow through you, to express through you. If you're by yourself, just take your brakes off. There's no one there to judge you, to make you feel bad, to make you feel small. No need to hide. And if, in fact, call those parts forward. Call them forward now to receive the light. Those parts of you that are hiding, those parts of you that are wounded, that are feeling lack, that are under the thumb of the judge or the critic, or whatever else, whatever other parts of you that you know of that are in bondage or prison within your system. Let them come forward and receive this light. And allow this medicine to begin its progress through your life, through your systems, through your physical systems, your energetic systems, your patterns, your familiar patterns, your ancestral patterns, your cultural patterns, tribal patterns, patterns, connecting in with your patterns. And maybe you don't know what that is, and that's okay. Your heart knows what that is, and just trust that you are getting it. And it's not about getting it right or wrong, or to a certain degree. You get what you get and let it unfold. Just like what you saw in the beginning, letting how that unfolds. It's always in motion. It's always becoming. Softening your body and allowing this energy to move now from your heart and through your shoulders and down into the earth and up in high into the sky, into the cosmos, and out your shoulders and arms and hands and into this paper, letting this paper hold the energy of this experience that you are having right now in this circle with me. Feeling this energy charging this paper. This paper is now holding the medicine of this experience, and allow this medicine to revisit you every time you look at it. Feel the power that you are putting into this medicine. And if you can do this in a workshop, imagine what you will do in 9 months in a container dedicated to practices that are like this, but way more expanded. Just imagine. Just imagine. And when you're ready, I'm going to ask you to grab a pen or a pencil because we are going to work in a pattern. And I think working with a pen or a pencil is going to be easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to just draw a line. I'm just drawing one right down the middle. I'm going to divide my paper in half. And then I'm going to do a horizontal line. That's kind of how that fractal started. And then what you're going to do is divide these lines however you like. So you're going to divide this one in half, this one in half, this one in half, this one in half, the next one in half, this one in half. See what's happening? You're making a pattern. The rule is halves. What else do you want to do? From the center out. Breaking this one in half, this one in half, and then this one. Each point, drawing another line in it, drawing another line in it, drawing another line in it, drawing another line in it. You can do this to infinity. Notice that. Corner to corner. Look at how much more we can divide these. You could keep going forever in these patterns with the rules you set up. So what are you choosing? Just notice how you choose it. What if I did arcs and made the rule arcs? I'm just going to fill the block in arcs, and maybe I'm going to go in halves, and in halves, and in halves, and in halves, and then in halves, and in halves, and in halves, and in halves. And yeah, you can keep going there too. You run out of paper, right? Maybe you go in the other direction. Making patterns, half to half. I'm making fish scales, half to half, half to half, right? It's endless. It's endless. However you want to do this, the choice is yours. What do you want to create? You have to have an intention, right? You have to have an intention. Or you just, you know, you're leaving it up to chance or fate. And then there's destiny, right? Destiny and fate, what's the difference between them? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray some water on this. So I'm just allowing the energy of what I just put in, the patterning. This paper is just gonna hold patterning. I'm not gonna care what the design is. I'm gonna let go of caring. The pattern will remain. I used a dark enough pencil, it's water soluble. So I can make a choice. I can make this really complex or I can make this really simple. Right now, because of time, I'm going to go with simple. I'm going to establish a rule. So I'm going to pick 4 colors because I have 4 quadrants. And I'm going to put a color in each one. I'm going to assign a color to each one. So I'm going to create a pattern within a pattern. And so I'm going to decide what part of this pattern, because I don't want to paint the whole thing. I just don't have the time right now. I may go back. So I'm going to assign this square down here, green. And I'm going to paint just how the corners touch each other. So no, there's no corner here. There's a corner here. Oh, this one gets to get painted. This one gets to get painted. This one gets to get painted. And this one, and this one. How did I decide that? Well, I just chose it. Did I break my pattern? Probably in a couple of places. Is it okay? Yeah, I'm the creator. I decided I wanted to do that. So I can break my own rule. I can throw something random in there. And if I do this enough, it'll create a pattern because I just threw something in. I put another, like if you look at the spiral patterns, I just threw another, like I poked it and I created something new in the field. All right, the next color I'm going to choose yellow. So every 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, every third one gets yellow. And if it gets messy, oh, whatever, right? 1, 2, 3, so 2. I could put another color in with making another rule about it. I could do that down here. And I'm going to choose this orangey red color. Hot red. And I'm gonna paint in opposites, and I'm gonna see what happens. So I'm gonna choose this one. I'm gonna paint its opposite. And then I'm gonna skip to 1, 2, and choose this one, and then paint its opposite. If I can figure out where it is. And then I'm going to skip 1, 2, and I'm going to paint its opposite. Until I can't do it anymore, right? So I hope you guys are getting the point here. If you have about 5 minutes left, I'm going to shift my camera and come back. I'm going to invite you back. Keep going. I know, like, you know, we're kind of running out of time here, and you're allowed to continue on your own. You're allowed to expand on it, shift it for yourself, do maybe more than one piece. You get to create how you need to. So I'm going to actually drop a link in here. Click on it. It's going to give you more information about what the Temple of the Cosmic Dreamer is, and I'll give you an opportunity to apply. I am asking that you apply to the temple because I want to have a conversation with you. I want to hear how committed you are to your healing, your dreaming, your creating, and celebrating what you are bringing into the world. This is serious stuff, right? This is serious stuff. The pain that you're in, the pain that you're feeling, the hiding, the playing small, if you can end that, you can end that in this container. And it's loving yourself enough, to take yourself on, to get your butt kicked. I'm not going to kick your butt all the time. I'll show you how to do it yourself in a very productive way, right? Because this is about us motivating ourselves from a place of love and soul and soul contract and divine patterning. It's not about playing small and hiding and waiting for someone else to do the work. We all live here in this collective, and we have a responsibility to be part of the change. And it doesn't have to be going out and being an activist. That might not be your contract. If you're here and you're an artist, or you're a creative person wanting to be an artist, whatever it is that brought you here, that's having you resonate here with what I'm teaching you, take it a step further. Find out more. That's all you need to do. Take that baby step. Find out more. Fill out the application. Have a call with me. You won't be sorry. You may be afraid. That's okay. But you won't be sorry. Just do it. So I'm going to end here. Who wants to, actually, we've got a couple minutes left. Who wants to just pop in? What is landing with you? What is your takeaway from today? What are you walking away with today? Just let me know. What opened up for you? Let go of the fear. Yeah, well, don't live from it. Don't create from it. We're always going to have fear. So maybe let go of the story that you have to let go of the fear. We're always going to have it. It's part of our fight or flight system, right? It's just what the story is around the fear, right? Feel the fear and do it anyway. That's courage. So step into your courage. Be in the positive. Be in the positive. Be in creation. Be in the action. Be in the courage. I am that I am, and that is great. Let go of the stories. Yeah, let go of the stories. Don't believe them. You're making it up. You're making it up. We're all making it up. It's the illusion. Step out of the illusion. Step into your power. And then write your story from your power, right? We're so creative. We're so creative that we're making up stories that don't serve us. What they serve, okay, they do serve us. They serve our program of playing small, of hiding, of wounding, of lack. I feel like it's time I take charge and not just sit back and watch my life anymore. Yay! I celebrate that. That's a powerful statement, Pat. That is so powerful. Awesome. You're welcome, Helen. So Helen, that's all you got? Enjoyed the art? I love calling Helen out. Yay, Pat. Yay, Pat. I am celebrating with you. That's a huge statement, and I'm glad you received that. All of you deserve to step into your power and not just make the art. All of you deserve to play full out in your own game of life, whatever that is, however that looks like. Helen says, I know I might have to purchase some boxing gloves. Yes. I'll spar with you. I can do it. I can handle it. Helen, you're awesome. You're awesome. Yes, awesome. All right, my friends, let's just close our circle, closing our eyes, coming back into our imaginations, feeling the connection in our circle coming from the left to the right, feeling that connection. And what you're going to do is you're just going to take an energetic step back, shake your hands off, come into your own space, connect in with your light, your power, grounding. Stay in that connected space, invite your guides in, your team, and listen to them. Listen to your team. Whenever you start playing small and they give you a little cuff upside the head, let that be a reminder they love you and that you are love and you are power. All right, have a beautiful day. Oh, I also want to tell you that the 20th, yeah, next week. Wow, my calendar's all messed up. I'm going on vacation and I'm trying to get tons of stuff done. So I'm like 2 weeks ahead of myself and, you know, whatever, I'm all over the place. So the 20th, I'm releasing all 7. You're going to get 1 a day. So 1 a day. And then towards the end of the week on the 23rd, which is my birthday, I'm releasing 2. And then my dad's birthday is on Friday, the 24th, and I'm going to be visiting with him. So I'm going to release 2 on that day too. And then you'll have the whole weekend to watch all 7. So it'll be really interesting to have them. You can just binge them if you want to, do the art again if you want to, listen to me kicking your butt some more if you want to, whatever it is. Enjoy it. Have an amazing rest of your day. Have an amazing weekend. Happy Juneteenth and happy Father's Day. I love you guys, and I'll see you sometime in the near future. Bye for now.